Goodbye, Babble.
And determined she was.
Wednesday night, a shooting in Upland.
How soft it is. Goodbye, Babble. Whew, that one is a hard one for me. Oh my goodness. This video has been so hard for me. So, tissues and coffee because it's like 12:45. So I was waiting to make this video until it was quiet here and everybody was asleep, but I've been waiting for like 3 days for it to be quiet. So that's what happens when you have this many kids in such a small house. Anyways, I thought I'd catch everybody up on just my past, our past, everything that's been going on, especially the past 15 months. We've had a lot going on, as you just seen, a lot of hard stuff. Eventually I'll catch everybody up. I mean, I'm going to go back at some point to even when Taylor and Ava were born. I just have a story that I'd like to share. Anyways, so I think it will help as we go forward for you to kind of see, because I get a lot of questions about the same things, and I think it will help as we go forward if I give you guys a little bit of what's been going on in our lives in the past. So starting for back in December 2020 was when we found out, and we'll try not to cry through this, and I think part of what takes me so long for this video is whenever I talk about somebody that's passed or that we've lost, I want to make sure I do it in a way that any other family members would be proud of, in a way that respects them, that they themselves would be proud of. I talk about them because, one, I don't want their memory to be gone. They were all, everybody we've lost, they're all such important people in our lives and such special people. I just want to share like how they were a part of our lives. So we're going to start with Chloe. She's my oldest daughter, Taylor's best friend. She was one of the gang over here. Like, there's always kids here. She was always here, always staying, always spend the night. Gosh, she was the funniest, sweetest little thing. She was so feisty, and oh my, gosh, we miss her so much. The summer before she was killed, I remember looking at her running into the house one morning, and I was sitting in my car doing something, and she didn't see me, and she comes bouncing in the house, and she just reminded me of myself at that age. And I just thought, well, I don't know, it just really stuck to me. And some of the stuff she was going through at the time is stuff I was going through about that age too. And we had talks about it. I still feel like I didn't talk to her enough about it. But that's what happens when you lose someone. You'll always have regrets. No matter what you do, you'll always have regrets. For example, my dad, when he passed, for the past 10 years, they've been telling us we had a few more months with him, maybe. He had a bad heart. And each time he'd have an episode, or he's been on life support, been on ventilators, but we've been told that we've gone in and said goodbyes to him. I don't know how many times at his bedside, where all he could do was squeeze our hand. Each time he'd recover. This last time he didn't. And it wasn't any easier. You know, it's like you had all this time to prepare and maybe say goodbyes, and it didn't make it easier. Kind of going out of order now, but yeah, it doesn't make it easier just because you might know that you might lose them, and it still hurts when they're a big role in your life. It leaves a hole. It's just what it does. And so, anyways, on to Chloe. In December, she was murdered. I'm not going into details. Trial hasn't happened and all that, but so I don't want to say a whole bunch of things and go into it all. But it was just, the news was just shocking. There's not a day go by that, you know, I don't think about and pray for her sweet parents. That could have been any one of our daughters in that situation. She was just basically in a wrong place at a wrong time, and it wasn't her fault, nothing to do with her. And I think that makes it even harder sometimes. When the innocent people are the ones that, you know, get hurt or get killed, and the people that deserved it didn't, you know, or the ones you feel like deserved it didn't, or the ones that should have didn't. That makes it hard. So, yeah, that was going through that, going into the beginning of the year. She died December 30th of 2020. Going into the beginning of the year, honestly, I don't remember a lot. The girls all cried a lot. We cried a lot for months and months. At that time, Ava was pregnant, and we knew, with Avea, and we knew, you know, she was going to be coming before too long. I remember doing Bubby's birthday in February after that. We were having some, you know, more normal times. It still was a huge hole over here, because she was always here. You know, there's like a group of kids that are always here, and, you know, when one of them's all of a sudden gone, you know, it leaves a hole over here. And so we were coming into March, and we had Bubby's birthday in February. We were coming into March, and I got woken up by a phone call, like 1 a.m. Here's the weird thing. My phone is on silent at night, and like certain numbers can get through. Well, this wasn't a certain number. And it was Jim, my ex-husband, my daughter's, Aurora's dad's. It was his girlfriend's at the time's number, and she called me, and she was hysterical on the other line, and just telling me that he was gone, and that she came home from work and he was gone. It was an exact repeat of how I lost Taylor and Ava's dad, back in 2016. To say I haven't even processed all that yet is an understatement. Again, with him, lots of regrets, lots of things I wish I could have done to help him, to save him, and you just have those with each death. It's, you know, even with my dad, I have it, and it's, you know, why would I have regrets with my dad? We had a wonderful relationship. There's just always things that you wish you would have said, wish you would have done, wish you would have spent more time with them, you know, text back more, answer more phone calls. And anyways, we got that call. That was March. Then came Avea in May, and Avea was born, and that was an exciting time. It was a hard time. It's, you know, having a teenage daughter that has 2 kids is not what you want. That in itself is a whole thing for me. But I love her, and just because your kids mess up doesn't mean that you kick them out or you turn your back on them. I mean, then what would that do? Then I'm hurting my grandkids. You know, if I make her life harder, it hurts their life. How can I ever sit there and say I'm a good grandmother or I'm a good mother if I'm purposely not helping them? And no, I don't make things easy on Ava. I make it actually pretty hard on her. It makes our relationship strenuous because of it. But being a mom's hard. It's what it is. This is a whole different topic. But so through all this, we had Avea's birthday, our birth, and you know, Aurora had a birthday. All of our birthdays, everybody's birthdays is in the summer. Marcus's, Taylor, Ava's, George, everybody's is in like a few months span there, from March or May to July, and mine's later in the year. But so we had a lot going on. At that time, Marcus and I took a trip, and June to Miami, which to my surprise, I mean, we talked about getting married, but I didn't know he was going to do it then. Gosh, my video keeps sliding down. But so we got engaged in Miami. You've probably seen some of the video. I thought everything between us was fine. You know, he'd say things like, people don't realize, you know, how advanced our relationship is. This past fall, we had our 3-year anniversary. So it wasn't like we were rushing this or rushing things. I would say around 3 years. If you're not, you know, engaged or getting married by that time, you probably never will. That's pretty good advice, by the way. So everything was fine. I probably wasn't as emotionally available to really anybody after losing Chloe and Jim. And on top of losing, you know, my oldest girl's dad, that was just in such tragic ways, each of them, that unexpected, untimely. They're way too young, and it's not fair. And, you know, I just think I was a little bit probably emotionally unavailable to a lot of people this past summer. We still had a good summer. Taylor turned 18. She graduated too. That was a big. It was a sad day because Chloe wasn't there. It was a big day for all the graduates and for Taylor and, you know, for Gracie, her other best friend. It was just a sad day because, and that's what it is when you lose people. Every day that is a big event where somebody that you lost should be there, it just clouds it. You know, it's like you have this pain in the back, you know, in your heart that just doesn't, you're enjoying your time, but that's your new normal when you lose people. And it's just, everything has a little bit of a cloud over it from now on. You appreciate everyone a little bit more though, so it's kind of bittersweet. So then when Taylor turns 18, I started this new thing with the girls where everybody, when the girls turn 18, they get to take a trip with mom. Because, here comes everybody in the house. Because, hey guys, be quiet. But, so I would, okay, bye. Ava's mad.
Trying to act like you're on a 1:30 a.m. with your candle lit, huh?
I already told them what time it was. They already know this.
What are you doing this for?
Huh?
What are you doing this for?
YouTube.
Mom, flip the camera.
That's a lie. Because every video I do is not flipped by.
I know it. It looks bad.
Okay, whatever. So I started this thing where I did a trip with the girls and they turned 18. Trip with mom because, quite frankly, I want them to know how to travel, know how to make the plans themselves, be smart travelers. And I take my girls on lots of trips, but this was one of just me and them. And I try to let her do like a lot of the things, figure out where we go in the airport, that kind of stuff, how to get rides, how to get to the hotel. And I don't want them to ever be impressed by your dusty little son, so I'm going to record this part. Listen to him.
No, your mommy using it. No, I just gave you a charger.
We're fighting over chargers. This is so my life. This is why I can't do anything.
Go find it. No, give me it.
I think they're just fighting.
Sorry, Mom.
It's Serena's birthday today. Come here, Serena. Come say hi.
Because it's my birthday today, guys.
Oh, we love her so
Got
much.
a new tattoo.
I know.
Papa's birthday.
I know. She got it for Papa.
Yeah, I
did. We love her.
I gave you a charger, you don't appreciate it.
Have you guys seen Serena before? Serena is my plus one, as I call her.
Go
She's
away,
not mine,
go.
but she's been.
Go the fuck away.
And they just unplugged the light. See, this is why. I don't even. Listen to them. Oh my gosh, they're like caged animals. I don't own them out in public. When we go places. I walk like 5 steps there to everybody. Can you plug me back in?
No.
You guys plug me back in?
No one's plugging you in.
I'll be right back. Go whoop some ass. Oh my gosh, that's so annoying. Anyways, sorry. I've been crying a lot tonight. So, where were we? What were we talking about? What were we talking about? I don't know. The trips, that kind of thing. I was talking about Serena for a second. She is my plus one. Let's give you a quick little thing what she is to us. Like I said, kids are always here and stuff, and they just kind of become part of our family, and I become like the weird mom-ish figure to some of them. But Serena is one that came, gosh, I think her 8th grade year or 9th grade year to us. She came over and kind of didn't go home, and she's just gonna stay here. And she kind of needed a place to stay, and she just blended right in with my kids and just became like one of mine. No, she's not legally mine. She's not, wasn't assigned to me. At one point I called DCS and was like, hey, I have this kid living with me now for like 2 years. And her dad kind of came in the picture, and now he's doing stuff with her, and but she just needed a safe place, and my home will always be open to a kid that needs a safe place. If they just want loved on for a little bit, if they just want a good meal, a good cook, they just want to, you know, my home is always open to kids, let me put it that way, as much as they get on my nerves. But this is a safe place, so my home is open for that. But anyway, so they were me and Marcus, we were engaged. They were, we were getting Taylor ready for school. She was going to Ball State. That was emotional for me again. I think it was emotional for all of us. She's the oldest. A little bit scared to let her go after what happened with Chloe. You just get scared of people being in the wrong place at the wrong time. I got hyper scared of her being, you know, hyper scared of guns, that sort of thing. Nowadays kids are just reckless, and they go around just, I mean, these kids go around with guns doing the stupidest things. And that's why I can always say my home is a safe place, because it's just, oh my gosh, if you have kids, teenagers right now, you know what I'm talking about. The just lack of parental anything is insane. And yes, you know, kids sneak around, do what they're going to do, lie to the parents, that kind of thing. But the kind of violence these kids are doing these days is scary. Let me put it that way. So here we are. Taylor started school. The girls are getting back in school. My dad got real sick again. Ended up back in the hospital. We kind of thought, oh, it's one of those things. Now with COVID, we couldn't all be there by his side the whole time. You know, like last times we normally were. When it got closer to the end, it got real bad. He was on a ventilator, and I think I showed a picture of me holding his hand. That's the last time I held his hand. He could squeeze. He wanted to talk to us so bad. Dad did not want to go. He stepped up so much for all my girls when their dads, you know, when their dad was gone, when their dad passed away. You know, for little Aurora, you know, she was super attached to her dad, and she didn't even understand that. And that's a whole nother topic too, trying to explain to your kids that their dad's gone. It's hard. I do my best, no matter what I went through with any of the girls' dads, I do my best to always talk positive about them, try to keep their memories alive. It's weird, you know, you can fight with someone, be mad with someone, you know, it might be someone that you love or had loved, like an ex-husband. And when they die, a lot of times you forget the things that, stupid phone, but yeah, you forget the things that made you mad. Like, you just, all this, I don't know, it's like you just remember your heart just fills up with the reasons why you ever let him in there, and the things you loved about him. And I think that's important for you as anybody, even if you have really bad history, because I do with my oldest girl's dad. No matter what they did to you, you know, there's no reason to give them a negative, you know, a negative memory to people. You know, give them a positive memory. Even if they went that for you, make their memory positive. Make it positive for their kids, you know. That's my little piece of advice. But, so there we were, and my dad got sick, and, you know, we all went up there at one point, and, you know, Marcus even asked my dad, you know, like on his deathbed, if he had permission to marry me, and which he did that like a year ago. Another time my dad was real sick. You know, and Dad shook his head yes. Marcus promised my dad this past time right before he died, you know, that he would step up and take care of all of his girls. That's why my dad didn't want to go. He did not want to lose, you know, he didn't want to be away from his girls, his granddaughters. That was his life. And now he had Bubba and Sis, Ava's two great grandkids, and, you know, my dad was such a rock for all of us, you know. Pick the girls up from school when I knew to give rides, go get ice cream, you know. Even though he wasn't physically in the shape that he was when I was young, where he could play all the sports with me and do all that stuff, he still did everything he possibly. He never said no to a request. Papa, will you come get us, take us here? Yes. You know, Dad, will you grab the girls for me? I'm not gonna have time to run, you know, pick the souls up from school. They're always 3 different schools. And, you know, always, sure baby, sure mouse. He's called me Mouse. So when he finally passed, I wasn't there at the hospital with him. That was hard. I stayed back really because I have one sibling, a brother. He wasn't doing well with it. He has a history of substance abuse, or bad history. He had been clean, but he was really drunk that day. And basically I was tending to him while my dad died. Not how I wanted to spend, rather have been by his side. So the hospital agreed to let us come up, you know, but ended up my aunt, come with his sister. My aunt was there with my mom when he passed. They were up there by his side. But yeah, that was, part of me was relieved for Dad. He fought so hard, and he wasn't ashamed of pain, but he just wasn't. He was a big, strong man growing up, and to see him where he physically couldn't, you know, get out and play ball, or, you know, couldn't even really walk very far. It was really hard on him. So there we were. We did Dad's funeral. Again, I'm thinking everything's okay with me and Marcus. It should have been, especially with everything I was going through, and it should have been. You know, he should have been just understood that where I was in my life. When he came into my life, Ava did not have 2 kids. So since the 3 years we've been together, he got to witness 2 births, so 2 more kids in the house. That's a lot to deal with. There's a story to that too. I'll tell you later. I'll just tell you now. The kid's dad, actually, Ava, who she has kids with, she met him through Marcus. So that's how that happened. A lot of people ask how, you know, how they meet, how they whatever. They're both in high school. He's a few years older than Ava, so he's graduating now. Ava's getting ready to graduate a year early. He's off playing ball in college. He's doing pretty good right now. And he's a good dad. Ava's a good mom. So I hear a lot of nasty comments. A lot of love too. I get a lot of love from people, but more love than hate. But if people want to hate, just know I might make you a viral TikTok. Anyways, so there we were. I'm thinking everything's okay. We had Dad's funeral. When my dad passed, it kind of released me from putting up with things and people that I don't need to anymore. I think losing Dad was my last straw of realizing life's too short. After losing, you know, so many like major deaths in my life, when I lost my dad, who was, you know, my rock, it was like, you know what, I'm not keeping my mouth shut anymore. I'm not being silent anymore. I'm not being a silent victim anymore. If some of you know me, you know I have a long history of severe abuse. I'm not being quiet anymore. I don't care if people believe my story, because it doesn't matter to me if they believe it or not. It's what happens. So, believe it or not, take it or leave it, don't like it, unfollow me. How about that? Some people say, oh, I make a mockery of abuse. First off, if you've been through what I've been through, because I still yet to be someone who's been through some of the things as severe as I was. I know everybody's got someone's worse than, you know, you always find someone that had it worse. But first off, humor is therapeutic. So, and however a victim decides to share their abuse or express their emotions through it, it's up to them. You don't get to decide that it's wrong. Okay? However they do it is how they do it. And however they do it is right. Okay? Stop victim shaming, by the way. It's disgusting. I've been victim shamed my whole life. And for some reason, it's like, why don't we call it the abuse the second it happens? Maybe it would escalate to so bad. Maybe we should embarrass the abusers. The second they verbally abuse you, before it turns into you get punched in the face or you have a weapon in your mouth and you're afraid they're going to pull the trigger. Like, let's normalize speaking up against abuse and disrespect to women or men. I mean, both sides can get abused, or to, making children feel okay to speak out. Like, we have this thing where it's like shame to do it. The same way with teen pregnancy, we have this thing where we just shame them to like not want to like I'm shamed for making sure my daughter's not on the street with her kids. Make that make sense, okay? But we would be praised had we had both the kids killed, and you've seen how beautiful they are, okay? And I'm not saying that I'm 100% anti-abortion, because I'm not, because you guys seen the video of me at the abortion clinic with my daughter. I let her decide, because even though I was against it, and I felt like at some point God was going to ask me, why'd you let her do that? She was too young to make that decision. That's why I was praying so hard in that car that day. That's why God told me that day, go sit down and I'll take care of it. And she ended up being farther along. And once she seen the baby on ultrasound, that was it. But anyway, I get off topic because there's so much going on. So you see why sometimes people are like, I'm confused about what you post. I'm confused. Like, are you with Marcus? Are you mad? Are you not? There has been so much going on, like all over the place, that I can't help but post like my life is all over the place, because it has been all over the place. It's insane. I mean, my life's normally not like this, but if I'm going to be open with you guys and share my life, then I'm going to have to share what it is from day to day. Sometimes me and Mark's relationship's really good and probably better than most people's. Other days we can make each other madder than let me tell you. And then me coming off as someone that's been victimized and so severely physically and emotionally abused in past relationship. After a lot of using the Dr. Phil show and the word, I've never used the word narcissist on anybody in my entire life, except for my first marriage, who was a diagnosed narcissistic sociopath, okay? And his therapist actually came to me and told me this. It was like, out of safety for you, you have to get away, because he will kill you. Exactly what he said. So yeah, I don't use that word lightly. When I started seeing, yes, when people get mad, I agree that yes, when people are mad, everybody can do things that seem narcissistic. Victims oftentimes can pick up the traits of their narcissistic abuser. Sometimes things like, I call it the trauma response, or PTSD, can appear narcissistic to people because it's a defense mechanism. It keeps you safe. But one thing Marcus has is empathy, I'm pretty sure. I have empathy, too much empathy actually. I'm too sensitive. But yeah, so I don't use that term lightly, but that's why it seems like some things are all over the place. I think we need to normalize being okay. It's okay to talk about our relationships. It's okay to talk about what happened. We don't, again, like, these women are in these, my phone keeps shutting off. It slides down and it, like, my case is like smooth. It keeps sliding down and going to like emergency. I'm trying to call the police. Anyways, but yeah, this, like, you get these people in these unhappy marriages, and this cheating. I mean, why do you think divorce rate is so high? We don't talk about anything. If we do, we're shamed. And like, where are we going to talk about it at? Nobody talks person to person hardly anymore. They talk in social media. They don't even really talk in messages. People post memes or sayings that maybe correlate to their life or something they go through, but they never talk about it with the person. They never talk about it with a group. They never get other ideas, other perspectives, other anything. And again, I'm big on, 100% big on, because I should have done this with the first round of abuse I went through. When I say the first round, I mean, I'm not going through abuse now, but he was getting extremely emotionally abusive, for sure. And I'm not playing those games at all. And because I'm extremely independent, financially and otherwise, so regardless of what Dr. Phil was saying, which, by the way, we have what really happened on the Dr. Phil show episode coming, because I recorded the whole thing. They didn't know I recorded the whole thing. So all the parts they edited out. Oh my goodness. They edited out so much. I knew it was going to go one way or the other, and I recorded myself saying this. That was either going to be a big victim shaming thing on me, like I did something wrong by exposing him, or I was doing it for attention, or blah, 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 blah. I had plenty of attention already. I had a 6-year-old with 2 kids. I have 2 ex-husbands who are dead. I have all kinds of things that could be, I have plenty of attention, trust me, okay? So I didn't need it, didn't want it whatsoever. But if I'm going to be stuck in this position, then I'm going to talk about the things that are important to me. And that is victims, being silenced and shamed. Teaching women how to deal with narcissists and abuse. How to break that cycle is a big thing to me. I haven't touched on it as deep as I want to, but I will eventually. Never thought I'd be talking about teen pregnancy, but now here I am. So, and the way, I have a daughter who's doing well. The kids are doing well. The both parents are co-parenting well. She's getting ready to graduate high school early. And what did I do different than other girls that are pushed out in the street? They never graduate. They end up on welfare and blah, 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 which we're not on welfare. People say that a lot. But, you know, I did differently. I continued to love her and put a roof over her head. That was it. That's what I did. And help out with, like, the physical needs of the kids. If they need out of diapers or something, and she doesn't have the money, and yes, she does make money. She actually makes pretty good money for being her age. With all her social media accounts. She shames mine. Which I always tease her that I'm coming for her. She makes her mad, but it keeps her going though. It keeps her motivated because she gets lazy with it. And that's why I started teasing her about it. Because I want her to be successful. No other reason than that. I want her to be successful because the more successful she is, the less I have to help. Okay? Okay, yeah. So yeah, there's some topics. Death is another thing I never thought I would be talking about people with, but again, having so many big deaths, it just kind of like, that's my life. Going through divorce, dealing with an age gap with Marcus. There's just things that like I never thought I'd experience in my life. I'm 40, he's 28, so if you don't know, dealing with big blended families. I never thought I'd have a family this big. Oh my gosh, I never wanted a family this big. No, all these kids aren't mine. Some people are like, a lot of people assume from the Dr. Phil show that I had 8 kids and he just had none. That's weird. Why would I have all 8? Just because you're trying to stereotype me? Okay. Over here we break stereotypes. Okay. But I have 4 girls that are physically mine. He has 2 that are physically his. The rest are either the plus ones, the adopted, the always here, the grandkids, somebody. And we love them all, and we're thankful that they're all here most of the time. And I wouldn't change anything about it, quite frankly. Yes, it's hard. When I moved into this house with just my 3 girls at the time, my 3-bedroom house was perfect. Big, beautiful out back, pool area that we remodeled and stuff, but it was perfect for us. I never imagined that I would have this big of a family. Like, holy cow. It's hard, it's stressful. I yell too much, too sloppy, don't feel like doing the dishes, don't feel like doing the laundry. Could have 70 loads of laundry a week, I kid you not. If I were to actually do them all. I don't. But yeah, so I just wanted to catch everyone up on kind of this past year, maybe why some things seem, maybe I seem emotional, or maybe why some of our posts seem erratic or kind of over the place, or, why I might be more sensitive, why I might act out, lash out, why one of the girls might act out, lash out, and Marcus might. Even him coming into our life, huge things just started happening the moment he stepped into our lives. Is he at fault for all of them? No. Is he the reason for some of them, or part of the reason for them? Yeah. Am I at fault for some of them? Yeah. And is it our fault that these deaths happen? No. Do we love and miss each person that is gone? Absolutely. I'd give anything to have all of them back. You just never know, man. You never know about the next day. So with that said, I'm gonna get off here. I'm getting better at editing, so hopefully my videos will get better, or a bit more on time. Part of it's that I don't start too late. I always have a hard time thinking of like what I want to do. So I have, not because I'm out of ideas, because I have a million ideas and things I want to talk about. I just don't know which one to do next, or which one I have enough footage for at the time. And it's hard getting footage for the things and the topics I want to talk about always, or get all the kids here, or, you know, the kids on board. Because if they're not in the mood to be filmed that day, then we're not filming them, you know. If they want to be part of it, cool. If they want to see it, they can see it. If not, I don't care. I'm sharing my life, and my life is my children right now. Taylor doesn't really care to be a part of this. You don't really see her that much. Some pictures here and there, some things from the past. You don't mind that, but you'll never get a camera interview from her, not unless this channel gets big enough. But and that's fine. You know, not everybody, this isn't for everybody. But I've had such a unique set of circumstances and been through more than the average person that it would be all that stuff, all the death, all the loss, all the pain, all the trauma, all the abuse would be done in vain. And here the baby crying. Would be done in vain. Ava is crying. All that stuff would be done in vain, and I almost feel like the loss or the pain I went through, the trauma, the abuse, the times I thought I was going to die at the hands of someone else would be pointless. What would be the point of it? It would just continue to hurt me and make my life miserable if I didn't use it to either help someone else, you know, encourage someone else, show someone else that, hey, I'm going to go through this shit too, you know. So anyways, I hope to see you guys back next week. Thanks for tuning in. Love you. Bye.